Hello to all the parents. We are very, very happy that you're all here. We are just setting up our PowerPoint and we'll get started in just a second here. Um,
कळलं बघितलं तिला ती होती ते
we are, I request all of you to keep your audio muted and your video on. It would be lovely to see you all. अच्छा लगेगा अगर आप सबको हम देख पाएं. It's always nice to see faces instead of blank screens. So अगर आप comfortable हैं तो please turn on your cameras. This ways we can see you and have a dialogue with you. So with that said, we are going to get started. Sanika, if we can have our PowerPoint up. Thank you so much. Hello to all of you. If you are new to Samarthya, I am Dr. Shivani Pandit. I am the founder, director of Samarthya. I am a special educator and I have been working with children with autism and intellectual disabilities for the past 30 years.
our PowerPoint up. Our
And
PowerPoint.
thank you so much. Hello to all of you. I think, is it, there was a echo, right? Is it better now? Yeah. So I'm very, very pleased to have you all again for our Samarthya signature program, Swayam series, where we invite guest expert speakers from all over the country on various topics to help parents with knowledge, information that truly helps them on their day-to-day basis. Today, I'm very happy to be joined by my team members Bhavna Pandey and Sanika Kelkar, who are going to be leading the session with coordinating, facilitating the session with our expert today. And something happened to our PowerPoint. Yes, okay. Sometimes we have tech issues when we least expect them. But if you already have been in touch with Samarthya, I think you know about who we are and what we do and what Swayam series is all about. But if you are new, I'd like to just take 1 minute to just give you an overview of Samarthya Foundation, our mission, our vision, and the kinds of programs that we have going on. We still don't have the PowerPoint, Sanika? There it is. All right. So Samarthya is a non-profit organization. We work on a hybrid model, which means we work with children online as well as at our center, a family resource center in Baner, Pune. We just completed 1 year of our existence in the in the city in Pune. So if you are a Pune parent and you've never been to our center, please do drop in anytime. Come see the work we do. We provide high quality intervention services to children across the various domains of occupational therapy, speech therapy, special education, counseling. We do provide one on one sessions, which is very, very important. And we also provide group sessions for children. For example, social skills groups, school readiness programs, functional life skills. So contact us to know more about the kinds of group sessions we offer to children. We do offer NIOS program, which is our online, UDAN, which is NIOS program for children, older children in school. We also do parent training, which is virtual. So that means online. We also provide one-on-one coaching and counseling to parents. We do public awareness focused inclusive storytelling sessions. We are going to actually have a storytelling session coming up in December. You can find out more information and come in with your children and your other family members to that. So Samarthya is focused on supporting children and families that need high quality services, and part of that is our collaboration with SNCC Rehab Foundation to bring in resources and supports to parents all over the country. So I would love it as you are joining in, also text chat in the chat box. Which city are you joining in from? So we would love to know where you are. And we work with SNCC Rehab Foundation, and the founder of SNCC is Harshali Kharche, who's a very dear friend of mine and a strong, fierce parent advocate. And SNCC and Samarthya work along the same lines of supporting parent needs and parent empowerment. SNCC operates out of Nagpur, and if you have any questions about SNCC, please do feel free to get in touch with Harshali Kharche. Most of you know her. Today, I'm very, very pleased to invite and have on board Mr. Rahul Mantri ji, who's a certified financial planner. And Rahul ji, thank you so much for being so kind and generous in giving of your expertise and your time to our parent community. Today's topic, as you all know, on financial planning is one of the most critical areas that all of you are always asking help on. So, Rahul ji is that phenomenal resource for us today who's going to give you knowledge. Please feel free to ask questions in the chat box while the session is going on. Bhavna ji and Sanika ji will take care of that for you, and we'll of course have a chance to have a Q&A with Rahul ji so that your questions are answered. And just know that this topic is something we will continue to bring on for you. This is a very important and a very difficult topic to cover in one session, as you can imagine. But we will try our best to bring you this in multiple ways so that this information gets to you all. And today, thank you to Bhavna ji for being our program facilitator. So with that, I hand it over to you, Bhavna. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Shivani. Thank you very much. It's always been a pleasure to be part of these series because the kind of knowledge, the topics, the information, which as professionals and parents we get through it is like phenomenal. I want to, without taking much time, first I would like to take my audience through a very brief profile of Rahul Ji. Mr. Rahul Mantri is a Pune-based certified financial planner, and he has experience of around 2 decades in personal finance and investment. He is an MBA in finance by qualification, and he has worked with very leading financial institutions like ICICI Prudential, mutual funds, HSBC Bank, Kotak Mutual Fund, DSP BlackRock, and CNBC TV18. His work has been published. He has been a writer on leading publications. He has been a well known speaker on various forums about the financial planning. Currently, Rahulji and his wife Neelam, they are serving more than 600 clients, managing over 200 crores of financial instruments. And this is just one aspect of his professional thing. What he stands out is for his uh, intent to help parents like us about the financial deliveries, about the future of our children, how we can secure our child's future by taking the right financial decision. Rahulji, thank you very much for taking out time from your busy schedule. And now I invite you on the forum. Please enlighten our parents and give us some information and more knowledge about this topic. Thank you for being here.
If I
Thank
can just
you.
thank you, Bhavna. Rahul ji, and अगर आप हिंदी English mix कर सके, our
Yes.
audience members are from all over the country, so we have to somehow, do that. So that would be appreciated. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. Thank you for having me here. So, without taking much time, shall I proceed with the presentation?
Yes, please.
Just a minute, please. Yes. Yes, we'll start with, like I was told, that this would be a series of sessions. We'll start with some basics in the first series, which will cover the basics of financial planning. So, before moving further, we just see what financial planning is. Financial planning kya hai? So this is a very, I can go into definition of it, but I don't want to go that side. What we'll do is I'll try to give you real life examples so that everybody can uh, 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 relate things to financial planning. I generally get feedback that financial planning or finance by as such is a very difficult and very ignored subject. So I try to relate finance with day challenges, day-to-day examples, so that people can relate to it. Layman can relate to finance and financial planning. So basically, what is planning? We require planning for each and every thing we do, right from maybe it's a travel, it can be our weekend, it can be some event. So everything, for everything we need planning, right? uh, Say for example, for if we want to have a trip abroad, we need to plan a lot of things, which can be getting the visas, having an itinerary, uh, uh, booking tickets, booking hotels, talking out the schedule for every day. And at the end, once this is done, we actually implement things and get the travel done. So same applies for finance as well. Everybody here has one or multiple financial goals, which can be education of our children, it can be marriage of our children, buying a property, buying a car, uh, our retirement as such. So any uh, uh, goal where a lump sum cash outflow is required, or there is a sizable amount that we need to spend, is a financial goal. And planning for this financial goal is nothing but financial planning. सो व्हाई फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग? हम लोगों ने देखा होगा कि आर पेरेंट्स नेवर रिसोर्टेड टू फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग, डिड दे? और they they did it, but the intensity or the intent was very different. Why? Because a lot of things have changed. काफी चीजें बदल गई है since last 2 or 3 decades. क्या क्या चेंज हुआ है? अगर आप किसी का भी मेरे कोई भी क्लाइंट का फाइनेंशियल प्लान निकाल के देख ले, तो उसमें 3 या 4 क्रिटिकल गोल्स होते हैं, जिसमें सबसे क्रिटिकल है एजुकेशन ऑफ चिल्ड्रन, जिसमें हायर एजुकेशन ब्रॉडली includes graduation and post graduation, then marriage of children, buying a property, and retirement. These 4 we consider as critical goals for everybody. There can be other goals. 5-6 नंबर पे और गोल्स हो सकते हैं, जिसमें हो सकता है कि फार्म हाउस खरीदना है, मे बी बड़ी गाड़ी खरीदनी है, बट दोज आर नॉट क्रिटिकल, दोज आर एस्पिरेशनल गोल्स, राइट? लेकिन क्रिटिकल गोल जो है वो इन्हीं चारों गोल्स पे सीमित होते हैं, जिसमें एजुकेशन, मैरिज, buying a property, and retirement. These are the 4 goals around which financial planning for any family revolves. तो अगर हम थोड़ा सा पीछे जाते हैं 2, 3, 4 decades, तो हम देखते थे, हमें पता चलता है कि the cost of education earlier was not that high. If I relate this thing to my family, मुझे जितना केजी टू पोस्ट ग्रेजुएशन जितना खर्चा आया, उतना ही खर्चा मेरे बेटे के केजी के लिए आया है. So you can see the stark difference where we are heading to. The cost of education has gone up so many times that now we don't have any other option but to save for the education of our children, and eventually invest the same savings over the period of time, so that the same kitty of saving can be used or can be spent on their education. So जब हम लोग छोटे थे, sorry,
No, sir, you can continue.
हाँ, so जब हम लोग छोटे थे, तब हमारे पेरेंट्स को फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग और एजुकेशन की इतनी चिंता नहीं थी, क्योंकि कॉस्ट ऑफ एजुकेशन वाज वेरी रीजनेबल as compared to today. It was like a regular expense from the day-to-day earning of our parents. Secondly, marriage. Yes, marriage पहले भी बड़ा खर्चा होता था, आज भी बड़ा बड़ा खर्चा है, लेकिन nowadays most of the people I see are there is a peer pressure to spend on marriages. That's why the cost of marriages have gone up substantially. Third thing is housing. Same is the case with housing. The cost of buying a house in cities, typically metros, has gone up substantially. If you see it in multiples of your yearly income, that multiple has gone up. पहले समझो. And one more thing which has differed is pehle, I remember people buying house towards the end of their career. Now the aspirations have increased. Now people want to have their own homes, their own houses at the very start of their career. Why? Because earlier to our parents, that facility of home loan was never there. It was not available. But now, since most of us are eligible for home loans, we don't want to spend, or we don't want to spend on rent. We want the comfort of our own home, which is very obvious. Everybody would like to have his or her own home, because that gives a lot of flexibility, it gives a lot of confidence, it gives a lot of emotional it has an emotional impact on us when we own our house. So and lastly, retirement. So if I compare the retirement of my parents didn't have a retirement plan as such. They have their own savings, but mostly parents of people of our age, uh, they had a thought process that मेरा बेटा ही मेरा financial planning है, retirement planning है, right? They didn't have any issues for depending on their kids for financial stability. Post retirement, it was a norm that kids will take care of parents. But this thing has drastically changed because of smaller families and westernization. Now, even I don't want to be dependent on my child for my financial needs after retirement. So, this is whether this is right, wrong is a different thing, but things have changed and we need to accept it, because I feel personally that kids nowadays would have their own struggles. Why should I add to their struggle by depending on them for my post retirement life? So this is my thought process, and
Financial
uh,
planning for neurodivergent children.
this is my thought process, and I see similar thought process of all my clients. So that is why financial planning? I just gave the answer that things have changed. Now financial planning has become a very necessary uh, uh, exercise which almost all parents should have. How to do it, we'll actually part of this we'll cover how part in the subsequent slides, when to do it. So I believe that financial planning should be done immediate. There can be two stages. One is immediately once you or somebody starts earning, he should initiate the process of financial planning. And second stage is after he gets married, he or she gets married, then is the right time to actually sit down with your partner, jot down the goals, and then uh, sit with a financial planner, or you can do it at your end as well if you are knowledgeable enough. jot down the goals and work on the goals in financial terms. So these goals, typically what happens after marriage is, शादी के बाद क्या होता है कि you have more clarity with respect to children, what would be the right from the number of children a couple wants to have, at what age would my child or children be at a situation where I need to spend for higher education, at by approximately what time I need to spend for marriage, how when I want to retire, because between couples there can be a uh, all people are not the same. So for example, my wife may want to work till 70 years of age. I might be of the other opinion of retiring early. So a financial plan, when you get married, you have all this information. If imagine if somebody is a single, he has not got married, if all these goals, if he starts investing with all these goals in mind, a lot of things would change after marriage, and all the planning which he has done till the date of marriage would go in for a toss, because he doesn't know how his would be wife or would be husband would how much he will be earning, where he will stay, what would be the kind of lifestyle as a family they have. So there are a lot of things where people lack clarity before marriage. So post marriage, in 6 months to 1 year, when things settle down, is the perfect time to sit down and start the financial planning journey. So now we come to the how part, which is actually most critical and most challenging thing regarding financial planning. To start with, uh, we need to have a process, so that if we follow the process,
राहुल जी, क्या आपको स्लाइड चेंज करनी है? क्योंकि हम एक ही स्लाइड देख पा रहे हैं पिछले कुछ समय से।
I think, just a minute.
What is Sunaha? अच्छा,
So can you see it now?
जी जी बिल्कुल आप देख
Key
रहे हैं।
points to remember.
Yes, yes, we can see.
I don't know. I was changing the slide, but I think it was not being shared on Zoom. Anyways, so these are the few pointers which will give answers to how to go about financial planning. The first and foremost point is data gathering. So what all data is required for financial planning is, first of all, we need to jot down all our sources of income and the numbers. Income in terms of income from our occupation, maybe some passive income like rent, maybe agriculture income, or any other income like dividends, like interest and all. Then parallelly, we need to also have expenses for our family. It can be monthly expenses. Now expenses are can be typically divided into three parts. One is the recurring monthly expenses like our groceries, जिसमें मोबाइल बिल है, इलेक्ट्रिसिटी एक्सपेंसेस है, पेट्रोल है, things which are there on a regular basis or a monthly basis. Then there are certain expenses which are yearly in nature, maybe school fees, society maintenance, car insurance, maintenance of car, all these things, maybe vacations, maybe festivals, spending on festive festivals like Diwali, etc. All these are yearly expenses, and there are some ad hoc expenses, like आज फ्रिज खराब हो गया तो रिप्लेस करना है, आज might be out of nowhere I need to travel to my parents' place because they are not well. So I need to travel and spend on maybe air tickets, train tickets. So all these can be ad hoc expenses. So if we can have an exercise of jotting down the monthly expenses for 5 to 6 months in a row, that will give you a fair idea on how much your actual monthly expenses are. You can have an average or the highest of the monthly of last 6 months expense. You can treat it as your monthly expense. Similarly, yearly expense, you need to just brainstorm, just check your maybe the credit card bills, your bank statements, your UPI payments, how you have spent money on your yearly commitments. Same goes the case with ad hoc expenses. So basically, you need to spend some time to gather this information before you start. Once you have these numbers, things become little easy, because it is what I say to everybody is financial planning is nothing but it is a application of common sense. Like for example, अगर आपके पास income का number है और expense का number है on a monthly basis, then it is any layman can calculate how much is the possible saving for your family. Say for example, if my monthly expenses to income is 2 lakh rupees and I spend 1.25 lakh rupees every month, so I can say easily I can save at least 50,000 rupees a month. So the importance or the this data should be very reliable. It should not happen that you have missed some income sources or expenses. If you miss something, then again all the effort is gone for a toss. And if the foundation itself is not strong enough, which is data gathering in case of financial planning, the eventually the building might collapse. So your building means the financial plan may go wrong. You might either overcommit or undercommit to your savings or investments. Similarly, like your income, you also need to list down your assets. The list of assets can be right from your properties, आपके बैंक अकाउंट्स, बैंक अकाउंट बैलेंसेस, your investment in shares, FDs, mutual funds, investment or savings in gold. So anything and everything, anything which is your asset needs to be listed down. The reason for listing all these assets is basically before planning or before starting with your financial plan, you need to understand where you stand currently. The goals would define where you want to be, and the process of financial planning will decide how you will go from place A to place B. So when you are basically listing down your income, expenses, assets and liabilities, you are nothing but you are doing nothing but you are trying to gauge where you are in terms of your finances currently. So list of assets, similarly list of liabilities is also a parallel thing, where you need to list down all your liabilities, which are your loans, typically your home loan, your car loan, personal loans, if any. So these four things, income, expenses, assets and liabilities, are the key things which you need to have before you start the financial planning. Now, insurance cover. What happens is most of the people already have some or the other insurance covers with them before they start a financial planning. So if there are any existing insurance policies like health, many times parents have a habit in India that बच्चे के नाम का लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले रखा है, एक्सीडेंटल पॉलिसी ले रखा है, हेल्थ इंश्योरेंस फैमिली का पूरा है. So all these insurance covers also, if existing any, need to be there on paper. All these things, if you have it on paper, it will help you a lot. Can you
तो
see the
सर
next slide?
कुल तो सर आपने अभी तक जो हम समझ सकते हैं कि अपनी हेल्थ फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग का सबसे पहला स्टेप ये है कि हमें अपने सारे एक्सपेंसेस एक
Right.
लगातार तकरीबन 6 महीने तक इनकम और एक्सपेंसेस लिखने शुरू करने चाहिए।
ट्रैक करना
साथ ही
शुरू करना।
हाँ, उसको ट्रैक करना, हमारे पास एक ट्रैकर होना चाहिए जिसमें ये सारी डिटेल हो। दूसरा,
Right.
हमारे जितने भी हमारी इन्वेस्टमेंट्स हैं, चाहे वो म्यूचुअल फंड्स में हो, चाहे वो हमारे गोल्ड में हो या किसी और तरह में हो, उसका भी एक ट्रैकर हमारे सामने क्लियरली होना चाहिए। तभी
जी,
ये हमारी फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग का पहला स्टेप।
correct. So not only expenses, but also the income and the liabilities. Though the income is very easy to, the income numbers are very easy to have.
चार्जर
Even the liabilities are limited. There can be 3 or 4 liabilities at max. There can be a home loan, car loan, personal loan, or a business loan. So आपने सही बोला भावना जी कि आपके पास डेटा होना चाहिए, so that we can, that is the first and the basic of financial planning, right? So next step is to cover your risks. किसी के हर एक के जिंदगी में ना, हम लोग, जिंदगी is full of risk, our life is full of risk, but some of the risks are they can be covered by insurance policies. Like typically, if you ask me, what all risks I carry is, अगर मुझे कुछ हो जाए, अनटाइमली डेथ, सो मेरे फैमिली का क्या होगा? So for that, I have a risk management tool, which is nothing but a life insurance cover. I can always opt for a term plan, so that in case कुछ अनहोनी हो जाए मेरे साथ, तो मेरे फैमिली को, मेरे डिपेंडेंट्स को फाइनेंशियल डिस्ट्रेस नहीं होना चाहिए। बाकी इमोशनल डिस्ट्रेस का तो कोई इलाज नहीं है। There cannot be a replacement, or there will be emotional distress if anybody, in case of an untimely death of anybody, emotional distress would be there. उसका कोई आज तक इलाज नहीं निकला है। लेकिन फॉर फाइनेंशियल रिस्क जो मैं कैरी कर रहा हूँ, कि आज अगर मैं नहीं रहूं, तो दैट फाइनेंशियल डिस्ट्रेस जो पास ऑन होगा मेरे डिपेंडेंट्स के लिए, कैन आई कवर दैट? तो आंसर इज यस, आई कैन हैव अ sizable amount of life insurance cover, which I can take and ensure that that risk is covered. So now when it comes to life insurance, we always suggest that buy a term insurance wherein you pay the premium, and if something happens, then only you get the uh, money or the life insurance proceeds. So there are n number of policies available in the market. Some of them are like endowment, money back policies, ULIP policies. But what we suggest is having a term plan. Why? Because first of all, term plan is very cheap. With a yearly premium of 15, 20, 25,000, I can cover a risk as big as 1 crore, 1.5 crore, depending upon your age. With a small amount, I can cover a very big risk of mine. So the next question which arises is, फिर ये मेरा पैसा जो, अगर मनी बैक पॉलिसी नहीं लेता हूं मैं, तो ये जो प्रीमियम मैं दे रहा हूं टर्म प्लान के लिए, दैट वुड गो वेस्ट। सो बेसिकली लाइफ इंश्योरेंस को आपको मनी मेकिंग के हिसाब से नहीं देखना है। You just need to understand that the premium you are paying for the term plan is for the coverage of risk you are getting, and it is not to earn money. आप लोग जब गाड़ी का इंश्योरेंस लेते हैं तब क्या करते हैं? Any SUV today which cost 20 lakh rupees, उसका yearly इंश्योरेंस कम से कम 20 से 25,000 रुपए है. So people are ready to pay 25,000 for a car which costs around 20 lakh rupees, but no, they don't want to pay insurance premium which can cover say 1 to 1.5 crore for their life. Basically life की कीमत आपके गाड़ी से तो पक्का ज्यादा है. Everybody agrees that.
बिल्कुल बिल्कुल.
तो अगर 20 लाख की गाड़ी के लिए अगर कोई भी 25,000 का प्रीमियम देने के लिए तैयार है, सो व्हाई नॉट फॉर योर ओन लाइफ? इट कैन गिव यू immense comfort, the peace of mind by having a sizable life insurance cover cannot be replaced. Second thing is having an health insurance. Now with health insurance as well, there is a lot of misunderstanding wherein people say that health insurance तो employer के पास से covered है. If anything happens, my employer will pay for it. But what happens is your insurance or life health insurance with the employer is there till you retire. There is no there would be no health insurance cover after retirement. So if you either retire early or even if you retire at the age of 60, post retirement, when the need of health insurance is the maximum, it would lapse.
सर इसी मामले में मेरे पास एक क्वेश्चन भी आया है. मैं चाहूंगी आप उस क्वेश्चन का जवाब दें और
जी.
साथ ही यहाँ पे हम बहुत स्पेसिफिक, क्योंकि आधा घंटा हो चुका है, बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स इस लाइफ इंश्योरेंस में समथिंग रिलेटेड टू द स्पेशल नीड चाइल्ड. स्पेशल नीड चाइल्ड का पेरेंट होने के बाद में आपकी जिम्मेदारियां अलग हो जाती है. क्या बच्चे का किसी तरह का लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लिया जा सकता है, या पेरेंट्स अपने लिए कोई एक खास किस्म का लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लें जो कि स्पेशल नीड बच्चों के हिसाब से?
देखिए, लाइफ इंश्योरेंस किसका होना चाहिए? इट इज बेसिकली जो घर में कमा रहा है, द पर्सन हु इज ब्रिंगिंग इन द मनी, उसका लाइफ इंश्योरेंस होना बहुत जरूरी है, क्योंकि उस पर्सन के एब्सेंस में द फाइनेंशियल प्रॉब्लम्स वुड स्टार्ट अराइजिंग. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर मेरे घर में मैं कमा रहा हूं तो मेरा लाइफ इंश्योरेंस होना जरूरी है, क्योंकि अगर मुझे कुछ हो जाए तो कैश फ्लो बंद हो जाएगा एंड उससे फाइनेंशियल डिस्ट्रेस होगा. वो डिस्ट्रेस पूरा करने के लिए लाइफ इंश्योरेंस का कैश फ्लो लमसम आना जरूरी है. तो
सर एक सवाल हमारे पास आया है कि इफ वी हैव मिस्ड बाइंग लाइफ टर्म इंश्योरेंस एट यंग एज, इज इट पॉसिबल टू बाय इट एट 35 प्लस, 35 साल, 40 साल से ऊपर की उम्र में ले सकते हैं?
ले सकते हैं और लेना चाहिए, जरूर लेना चाहिए. जब तक आपको ये कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं है कि आपने कमाया और सेव किया हुआ पैसा आपके डिपेंडेंट्स के लिए पूरा पड़ेगा, इफ इट इज सफिशिएंट, then only you don't need a life insurance. If you feel that whatever assets and investments you have net of your liabilities, क्योंकि अगर आपके पास, मान लीजिए मेरे पास 2 करोड़ का एसेट है और 1 करोड़ का होम लोन है, तो अगर मुझे कुछ हो जाता है तो माय फैमिली विल हैव टू रीपे दैट होम लोन. सो नेट ऑफ माय लायबिलिटीज, if I have sufficient amount of assets to take care of my dependents, then I don't need a life insurance. अगर वैसी सिचुएशन अभी तक आई नहीं है तो आप इंश्योरेंस, टर्म इंश्योरेंस जरूर ले, whether your age is 35 or 40 doesn't matter. और रही बात पुराने पहले सवाल का, तो बच्चों के नाम का लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लेना सही नहीं है. एक तो मिलेगा भी नहीं, क्योंकि लाइफ इंश्योरेंस व्हेन यू फिल अ फॉर्म, it is given on the basis of your income. There are certain thumb rules, which is I think 20 or 25 times of your yearly income is what maximum you can get as a life insurance cover. So agar typically in the case of children with special needs, since most of these children have no income, so I don't think their life can be insured.
So in case some child has, money transferred or property transferred or some big asset transferred on his name by
Hmm.
his parents, by relatives,
Hmm.
how to secure that thing? Child is a special need child. He does not understand कि मुझे अपने पैसे से उसके क्या करना है क्या नहीं, लेकिन उसके नाम पे कोई मकान है, उसके नाम पे कोई एक बड़ा अमाउंट किसी ने उसके ग्रैंड
Hmm.
पेरेंट्स ने दिया हुआ है, तो उस स्थिति में क्या करना चाहिए?
Basically, there are two ways to handle this issue. One is having a guardian. Uh, you can appoint a guardian legally, and or have a trust. So these are the two ways you can safeguard the interest of your child in case there is some property or some asset which belongs to the child or in the name of the child.
तो ट्रस्ट बनाकर गार्जियन बनाना बहुत जरूरी है, फाइनेंशियल गार्जियन।
बहुत जरूरी है, राइट।
आई होप आपकी आने वाली स्लाइड्स में उसके बारे में और थोड़ी रोशनी डाल पाए।
Yes, insurance to cover the risk. Third thing is having an emergency corpus in place. So this is a very very important and neglected part of financial planning. मैं देखता हूँ अक्सर लोग इसको मिस करते हैं, और ये this thing is as good as having a as important as having a life insurance. Emergency corpus क्या है? Because again we know and we understand that life is full of uncertainties. कब emergency आ जाए you never know. So अगर आपने सारे चीजें सही किया, if you have a life insurance cover, if you have a health insurance cover, if you have started investing for long term goals जिसमें आपके बच्चे का एजुकेशन है, आपका रिटायरमेंट है, इस ये सारे लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स के लिए इन्वेस्टमेंट भी शुरू कर दिया है, और आपके पास इमरजेंसी कॉर्पस नहीं है, तो इट कैन बी अ वेरी ट्रिकी सिचुएशन इफ एन इमरजेंसी अराइजेस। उस केस में होगा क्या कि मान लीजिए कोविड में, कोविड टाइम्स में देर वाज अ कपल, say one of my client, wherein one of the husband and wife, one of them lost a job. So the situation was such that they could barely service their EMIs, and could barely take care of their living expenses. But जो ऊपर का उनके सिप्स है, जो ऊपर के खर्चे है, those were at stake. They didn't have money for that. Eventually what happened, 6-8 months later the husband found a job, and things were back on track. लेकिन those वो 6 से 8 महीने उनके लिए काफी स्ट्रेसफुल रहे। उससे हुआ क्या कि उनका जो लॉन्ग टर्म गोल्स का इन्वेस्टमेंट था वो रुक गया, and there was a lot of uncertainty and a lot of stress because of the job loss. So this wasn't one of emergency which came in. Such emergency can come up in the form of medical emergency as well. If something happens to me and if I'm not able to go to office for a few months, my cash flow might dry up. So to ensure that there is no financial distress in such a situation, we should have a emergency corpus equivalent to at least 6 months of our monthly expenses, that should be parked in such a way that it can be uh, redeemed, or it can be withdrawn very easily. So basically when it comes to emergency corpus, the biggest uh, the most important thing is the liquidity. You should be able to tap this emergency corpus immediately without any hassle and without any delay. So here the return on investment becomes secondary, because अगर emergency corpus का पैसा आप आपके या रियल एस्टेट, आप एक फ्लैट नहीं खरीद सकते इमरजेंसी कॉर्पस के लिए कि इमरजेंसी आएगी तो ये फ्लैट में बेच दूंगा, तो दैट विल नॉट वर्क. द मनी यू कैन नॉट बाय इक्विटी फंड्स फॉर इमरजेंसी कॉर्पस, क्योंकि एक इमरजेंसी जब भी आएगी, टिपिकली लाइक अ कोविड सिचुएशन, तो मार्केट्स ऑलरेडी 40% डाउन थे. तो अगर किसी ने इमरजेंसी कॉर्पस इक्विटी फंड में लगाया होता, तो अगर 1 लाख रुपए का इमरजेंसी कॉर्पस क्रिएट किया होता तो उसके हाथ में 60,000 रुपए ही आया होता. तो देर आर सर्टन thumb rules for emergency corpus, creating an emergency corpus. The rule says that you should have an emergency corpus equivalent to 6 months of your expenses in an emergency fund. Secondly, the fund should be very liquid. It should be very flexible. Like for example, if you have 6 lakh rupees in an emergency corpus, but the emergency is only for 2 lakh rupees, you should be able to withdraw 2 lakh rupees and not the entire 6 lakhs. So this is what I mean by flexibility. So this is where the next question का आंसर आता है, where to park the emergency corpus amount. There are specific funds to park these such an corpus, which are called short-term debt funds, which are not linked to the market volatility. मार्केट ऊपर जाए नीचे जाए, आपका इमरजेंसी कॉर्पस निगेटिव में नहीं जाता है. देयर इज अ डिसेंट रिटर्न ऑन दैट which is much higher than your saving bank account. So typically having a short term debt fund for emergency corpus where the exit load or exit charge is zero is the best thing for to have in case you want to park the money which is earmarked to your emergency corpus.
सर, मैं इस यहाँ पर थोड़ा सा रूप से अपने ऑडियंस से पूछना चाहूंगी कि क्या उनके पास कोई सवाल है जो कि यहाँ पूछना चाहते हैं. हम लोग 45 मिनट्स इस सेशन में हो चुके हैं और सर ने बहुत अलग अलग टॉपिक्स, बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट चीजें बताई हैं. क्या किसी का यदि कोई सवाल है तो हम यहाँ रुक के सवाल लेना चाहते हैं. Feel free to ask in any language, Hindi or English.
I think, Bhavna, we have a question, which is, can FDs be considered flexible?
Yes, FDs are to an extent flexible. FDs का problem क्या है मैं बताता हूँ. They are very liquid first of all. So it checks one of the boxes कि liquidity. अभी आप अगर FD करते हैं, if you are using online banking, you can break the FD online, take that money into your saving bank's account and ensure that the money is used for your emergencies, right? So when it comes to liquidity, FDs can be very, very liquid. So one of the boxes is ticked. Second thing is the flexibility. FDs lack flexibility. होता क्या है कि आज के डेट में अगर आप देखो कि FD का रेट करीब करीब 6.5% है. अगर आपने 1 साल का FD आप कर रहे हो और हर साल उसको रोल ओवर कर रहे हो, और after the first rollover, after 2 months, there is an emergency. So what will happen is you will have to break the FD. The process.
I'm giving you 1 minute. Come.
The process is simple. You break the FD, take the money, use it for your emergency. But इस पूरे चक्कर में, इस पूरे सिलसिले में होता क्या है कि you are losing out on the returns. क्योंकि अगर मान लो आपने 6 लाख का FD किया है और आपको 2 लाख की ही जरूरत है, you are breaking the entire 6 lakh FD for 2 lakhs. So now somebody can say that I can break the FDs in break this 6 lakh into 3 FDs of 2 lakhs. So basically I don't know whether my emergency will be for 1 lakh, for 50,000, for 2 lakhs, 5 lakhs, or the entire 6 lakhs. So it is very difficult for me. आप नहीं तो 50,000 की 12 एफडी भी कर सकती है, विच इज अगेन अ लिटिल कम्बरसम थिंग टू डू, राइट? सो एफडी इज लैक दैट फ्लेक्सिबिलिटी. अगर आप एफडी प्री मैच्योर तोड़ेंगे तो आपको रिटर्न हार्डली कुछ मिलेगा. इन केस आप 2 महीने बाद तोड़ेंगे तो 2 महीने के एफडी के लिए जो रेट होगा, which would be obviously far less than 6.5, because 6.5 is the rate for 1 year. 2 महीने की एफडी के लिए शायद हो सकता है कि रेट 3% ही हो, उसमें भी आपको 2% का पेनल्टी लग जाएगा. तो एट द एंड यू आर गेटिंग जस्ट 1%. So this
Yes,
is
sir.
where
I think it's clear. I
FDs
understood.
lack as compared to short-term funds. Where in short-term funds you can withdraw any partial amount without any. You don't have to break it basically. Even if you
शॉर्ट टर्म,
have
आप शॉर्ट टर्म इमरजेंसी फंड्स के लिए क्या सजेस्ट कर रहे हैं?
there is a category of mutual fund which is called short-term funds, short-term debt funds. I
सर
think
एक
I have
सवाल यहाँ पे.
answered the question for Siddharth.
यस यस सर, एक और सवाल यहाँ
It
पे
answers it
मेरा
very well.
उठता
Thank
है.
you, sir. It's
Yeah,
clarifying very well. Thank you.
We have another question from स्मिता जी. उनका
Yeah.
पूछना ये है कि any policy like जीवन आधार which was for special need PWD parents, special need parents के लिए कोई खास किस्म की पॉलिसी है?
I am not very sure about the policies for special needs, but any term plan is actually a good policy for anybody and everybody. So rather than having specific needs, a term plan would cover all the risks. So why you want to restrict yourself for your child only? It can be for the term plan proceeds can be used for your child to prepay your liability, uh, anything. So a term plan is actually a very good thing for all your needs. You don't have to look beyond that.
What is the right age to take term plan? मतलब
at-
लेटर कितना देर तक लिया जा सकता है?
देखिए, जितना जल्दी आप लेंगे ना उतना प्रीमियम कम होता है, लेकिन देयर इज अ कैच. अगर आप जल्दी लेंगे तो आपका एलिजिबिलिटी भी कम होगा. तो इवेंचुअली आपको हो सकता है कि आपको टर्म प्लान एनहेंस करना पड़े. लेकिन जब भी देयर इज अ फाइनेंशियल डिपेंडेंसी ऑन यू, फॉर एग्जांपल मैं मेरा ही एग्जांपल लेता हूँ. जब मैंने कमाना शुरू किया था तब मेरे पेरेंट्स ऑलरेडी दे वर अर्निंग एंड माय फैमिली वाज नॉट डिपेंडेंट ऑन माय मेकिंग द मनी. सो दैट maybe was not the right time to buy a term plan. लेकिन जैसे जैसे मैं थोड़ा बड़ा हुआ, मेरा इनकम बढ़ा, मुझे मेरे साथ मेरी शादी हुई, उसके साथ रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज आई, तब जाके मुझे लगा कि टर्म प्लान होना जरूरी है. बिकॉज बाय दैट टाइम माय पेरेंट्स वर आल्सो एजिंग. सो मुझे ऐसा लगा कि इट इज नॉट करेक्ट फॉर मी टू डिपेंड ऑन देम फॉर इन केस एनी अनफॉर्चुनेट सिचुएशन अराइजेस. सो तब जाके मैंने माइट बी अराउंड द एज ऑफ 28-29 आई गॉट अ टर्म प्लान. So I got married at the age of 26, between 26 and 27, and in 2 to 3 years I bought a term plan when I realized that मेरे ऊपर जिम्मेदारियां बढ़ गई है. So that was the point when I bought it, but this age can be different for different people.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thanks for that.
Anything else?
There is one more question, sir. We are talking about neurodivergent children who may not earn lifelong, who
Yes.
may not become independent financially. Yes, sir, Preeti, this is what sir is saying. कि क्योंकि उन बच्चों की अपनी कोई इनकम नहीं है, क्योंकि वो खुद इंडिपेंडेंट फाइनेंशियली नहीं है, तो ऐसे में पेरेंट्स को अपनी फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग इतनी स्ट्रॉन्ग करनी पड़ेगी कि इमरजेंसी फंड्स, इमरजेंसी पर्पस, लॉन्ग टर्म फंड, your life insurances, आपको इस हिसाब से लेने पड़ेंगे ताकि आपके बच्चे का भविष्य सिक्योर हो जाए. So, Preeti, I think that was just a comment. There was no specific question related to it. Sir, we can go on.
Yes. Now, asset allocation. So, when we plan or design a financial plan or the investment plan rather, किसी भी goal के लिए, so we have a few assets available, asset classes available for each and every goal. What are these asset classes which we can use? Basically, it can be फिक्स्ड इनकम जैसे कि एफडीज, पीपीएफ, नेशनल सेविंग सर्टिफिकेट, बॉन्ड्स, डिबेंचर्स एक्सेट्रा, जहां पे विजिबिलिटी पूरा होता है. जब आप एफडी लेते हो बैंक में जाके, आपको मालूम है आपने 1 लाख रुपए का एफडी लिया है 6.5% से 1 साल के लिए, तो एवरीथिंग इज क्रिस्टल क्लियर कि आज ही मुझे एट द टाइम ऑफ बुकिंग दी एफडी आई नो आफ्टर 1 ईयर हाउ मच मनी आई वुड गेट इन हैंड, राइट? कि 6.5% के हिसाब से 1 लाख के आगे 6,500 रुपए में जो मिलने वाले हैं. इफ टुडे इज 26 सितंबर 2025, 26 सितंबर 2026 को मुझे 1,06,500 रुपए मिलेंगे. इट इज वेरी सिंपल एंड अ वेरी हैसल फ्री एंड uncomplicated product. That is the beauty of fixed income securities like bonds, FD, etc., where you have the full clarity right at the time of investment. You know what is going to happen in the future. So this because of काफी लोग है ना फिक्स्ड इनकम को इतना अट्रैक्टिव नहीं मानते हैं क्योंकि द रिटर्न इज लोअर. So if you want the clarity, obviously there would be some disadvantages. तो इसमें disadvantage क्या है? फिक्स्ड इनकम में there is a cap to the return. आप डबल डिजिट रिटर्न इसमें नहीं कमा सकते. ज्यादा से ज्यादा you can extend the returns. अगर आपको एफडी नहीं करना है आप और रिस्क भी नहीं लेना है तो आप नेशनल सेविंग सर्टिफिकेट में पैसा डाल दीजिए जहां पे आज भी 5 साल के लिए 7.7% is available with a government of India guarantee. So फिर भी 7.7 is not a very attractive return to lock your money for 5 years. But there can be situations wherein you on certain amount you cannot take your risk. There has to be a इसका फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग में फिक्स्ड इनकम का उतना ही रोल है जितना अदर एसेट्स का है. तो जो अमाउंट पे आपको रिस्क लेना नहीं है या लेना नहीं चाहते वो आप फिक्स्ड इनकम इंस्ट्रूमेंट्स में डाल सकते हैं. सेकेंड इज सॉरी मैं डायरेक्टली फिक्स्ड इनकम पे चला गया. फर्स्ट इज गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर which are commodities where the prices of gold and silver are little volatile, but if you check the long term they will always mirror the long term inflation. So it is considered ki gold or silver will have a trend like your insurance. So sorry inflation. So it is considered to be a very good hedge against inflation. And another advantage of gold and silver is typically gold tends to have a negative correlation with your equity markets. So अगर आपके पास गोल्ड है और इक्विटी फंड का पोर्टफोलियो है तो जब इक्विटी फंड नीचे जाएंगे तब गोल्ड ऊपर जा सकता है. So in case you have a need of funds when the market is down और इमरजेंसी कॉर्पस से काम पूरा नहीं हो रहा है, so you can always bank on your gold portfolio. Second is real estate. Real estate is another way where another asset class where people have made a lot of money. There was a time when a lot of people actually generated wealth through real estate because loans were available at cheap rates of 6 to 8% and the return on रियल एस्टेट वाज वेरी हाई. एक पीरियड था 2003-4 से लेके 2000 माइट बी 15-16 तक जहाँ पे रियल एस्टेट ने अच्छा रिटर्न दिया है, लेकिन रियल एस्टेट रिटर्न्स टेंड टू बी लंपी. It is not a very easy or a smooth ride when it comes to real estate. So each and every asset class would have some advantages, some disadvantages. So real estate again being very illiquid, जब आप बेचने जाएंगे तब मार्केट में एक रेट होगा. If you are in distress, you will have to sell it in discount. So there are a lot of advantages as well as disadvantages. The biggest advantage of real estate is it is the only asset class where you can have that asset class by taking a loan. You cannot buy gold by taking a loan. You cannot have a share portfolio. You cannot have a mutual fund portfolio by taking a loan. It doesn't make sense to borrow at 8, 9, 10% and have an FD of 6, 7%. So real estate is the only asset class where you can leverage on bank's money and buy that a property. Fixed
So we
income.
have a question from Punna Srinivas. May I ask you to ask a question, sir?
Yes.
It's a very long question, and I'll Punna Srinivas from Hyderabad. Okay, I'll read out the question here. What is the best product areas where ID child, intellectually disabled child, will get fixed income after parents expire, which cannot do some process further by ID child, which means the ID child himself can't do anything, but he starts getting a fixed income after his parents expire. In the sense, once parents expire, the insurer automatically credit the return directly in ID child return.
So basically, there's no right or wrong answer to this. It all depends upon how you want to plan it. Because this also can be planned and conveyed to the guardians through a will. For example, if I have a specially able child, I write a will saying that on my death, whatever assets I have should be liquidated. Whatever life insurance proceed, the child will get, because he is the beneficiary, he or she has to be invested in such a way. I can actually define the investment process then and there, so that and how the investment can generate returns so that the needs of the special child can be taken care of. It can be as simple as having an FD in State Bank of India, and whatever interest comes can go to servicing of the child's needs every time, to a solution wherein I can put the lump sum money in a say balanced advantage fund. ABC कंपनी का बैलेंस एडवांटेज फंड है, उसमें डाल दूं और पर मंथ XYZ अमाउंट सिस्टमेटिकली विड्रॉ करूं चाइल्ड के नाम पे, सो दैट जो भी पैसा आएगा सिस्टमेटिक विड्रॉल प्लान, जिसको हम लोग SWP बोलते हैं, वहां से वो SW का पैसा चाइल्ड को मिल सके. सो बेसिकली दिस इज अ होल इन्वेस्टमेंट प्लान ऑल टुगेदर, जिसका देयर इज नो जेनरिक आंसर. It has to be a tailor-made solution for you. Understanding what is the requirement in terms of return on investment, आप कितना पैसा लगाने वाले, आपको कितना return expected है, how much risk you want to take, how many years you want that corpus to fund your child. There are a lot of things which we need to discuss and calculate before we arrive at a conclusion. So solutions are many. We need to have a tailor-made solution in such case.
सर हमारे पास 20 मिनट और हैं प्रेजेंटेशन, सॉरी 15 मिनट और हैं आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन को. इसके बाद हम 15 मिनट के लिए फोरम खोलेंगे पेरेंट्स के सवालों के लिए. हालांकि बीच में हम सवाल ले रहे हैं, लेकिन बहुत सारे पेरेंट्स के पास कुछ ऐसे सवाल भी होंगे जो वो डायरेक्टली.
Right. So stocks and equity linked investment. Now there is a lot of awareness as compared to earlier with respect to stocks and equity linked investments, like your equity funds, wherein you can buy these investment avenues and generate superior returns, typically if you check the history, equity linked investments like equity funds have given anywhere between 12 to 15, 16, 17% return, depending upon the time you bought and how you bought, whether you have put in lump sum money or you have started an SIP or a combination of lump sum and SIP. So currently, if you check the historical returns of most diversified equity funds, they fall anywhere between 12 to 16, 17% annualized. So because of the high returns in the past, these instruments have become very popular. Another reason for these instruments being popular is the flexibility they give to the investor. Investor can buy it in small amounts, they can top it up, they can have an SIP, they can have a lump sum investment, and create a corpus over a long period of time. Maybe अगर मेरा आज age 45 है, and if I want to retire at 60, I have 15 long years where I can just focus on accumulating units of equity funds. And if the past returns and India's growth continues the way it has been in the past, I don't have any doubt that we can generate the returns which we have seen till date. So this link is nothing but a short. Can you see the Excel sheet?
No, sir, we cannot see. We are still seeing the asset allocation.
Okay, I'll just share the Excel as well. Yes, now?
Wait,
Sorry?
Yes, we can.
So this,
I request all the participants to keep themselves on mute, please.
yeah, I would suggest that just click a photo of this. This shows how each and every class, asset class का क्या advantage है, क्या disadvantage है. So by nature, no asset class is superior or inferior. Financial planning is nothing but a process to use each and advantages of each and every asset class to your advantage. The features of each and every asset class to your advantage. So अगर किसी को शॉर्ट टर्म इमरजेंसी कॉर्पस क्रिएट करना है तो माइट बी फिक्स्ड इनकम में जो शॉर्ट टर्म डेट फंड्स मैंने बोला वो सही है. किसी को रहने के लिए घर चाहिए, एज वेल एज इट कैन बी एन इन्वेस्टमेंट एज वेल, राइट. आपका वो एसेट है. आपके पास अगर घर नहीं है तो यू शुड इन्वेस्ट इन अ प्रॉपर्टी. अगर आपको इक्विटी के साथ थोड़ा स्टेबिलिटी चाहिए तो गोल्ड एंड सिल्वर शुड बी अ पार्ट ऑफ योर पोर्टफोलियो. अगर आपको अगर डबल डिजिट रिटर्न्स की अपेक्षा है तो आपको इक्विटी फंड के अलावा ऑप्शन नहीं है खास. सो ईच एंड एवरी एसेट क्लास हैव देयर ओन advantages as well as disadvantages. So your portfolio should be constructed in such a way that you have allocation to each and every asset classes as per your need, right? This is just a point on which everybody should ponder, that we spend a lot of time in earning money. Most of our life goes into जिंदगी के हमारे जो भी 24 घंटे हैं दिन के, उसमें से अगर हम लोग मान ले कि मिनिमम 1/3 8 घंटे भी हम लोग काम करते हैं, तो वो हमारा काम हम लोग पैसा कमाने के लिए खर्च करते हैं. सो ऑन एन एवरेज इन अ ईयर, on a very conservative basis, we spend 2000 to 2500 hours in earning money. But do we spend even 4 to 5 hours to manage the money we are earning? Most of the times the answer is no. So if you are slogging so much, if you are obviously for our children, most of us do this for the future of our family. But apart from spending so much time on earning the money, you should spend at least 4 to 5 hours in a year. That is sufficient to manage the money you are earning, so that your future is secured. So basically, the whole idea behind this slide is don't Ignore financial planning. Don't ignore investment management. Don't give it a secondary treatment as compared to the day-to-day exercise or the amount of time you spend to earn the money.
I
Right?
hope all the participants have taken a picture snapshot of this Excel so that we can go back to the main
Yeah.
presentation. Okay.
So थिंग्स टू अवॉइड मैं हम लोगों ने बात की थी इन्वेस्टमेंट इंश्योरेंस के बारे में. अवॉइड मिक्सिंग इंश्योरेंस एंड इन्वेस्टमेंट. हैव अ सेपरेट इंश्योरेंस एंड सेपरेट इन्वेस्टमेंट. दो अलग बकेट होनी चाहिए. इट्स अ टू बकेट काइंड ऑफ अ थिंग वेर in case of requirement you can withdraw the investment and still your insurance is in place. और इफ रिक्वायर्ड से अगर मुझे कल जाके मेरा इतना एसेट हो गया है कि इंश्योरेंस की अभी मुझे जरूरत नहीं है, तो आई कैन इजीली स्टॉप पेइंग द प्रीमियम फॉर टुवर्ड्स लाइफ इंश्योरेंस बिकॉज दैट एट द एंड इज एन एक्सपेंस टू मी, राइट? सो इफ आई हैव
सर आप प्रेजेंटेशन दिखा सकते हैं, आप प्रेजेंटेशन पे चेंज कर सकते हैं. सर
अच्छा एक मिनट, शायद मैं वही स्लाइड पे हूँ क्या?
ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग पॉइंट है कि अगर एक समय के बाद आपको लगता है कि आपकी ऐसी टेक्निक बन गई है कि आपको प्रीमियम देने की, तो वो कौन सा सही समय है जब हम ये तय कर सकते हैं कि अब हमें
again
प्रीमियम
when you feel that your assets are sufficient, आपके एसेट इतने बन गए हैं कि अभी मैं रहूं नहीं या नहीं रहूं, the asset will have a cash flow which will take care of my dependents. That time you have an option to discontinue your insurance, paying insurance premium. Second thing is having bias towards one asset class. काफी बार क्या होता है ना कि अगर मुझे कोई एसेट क्लास से पैसा मिला है पहले, इन्वेस्टमेंट जैसे प्रॉपर्टी से मैंने बहुत पैसा कमाया, तो आई बिकम बायस टुवर्ड्स दैट एसेट क्लास और मैं उस एसेट क्लास में और ज्यादा इन्वेस्टमेंट करता हूँ, थिंकिंग दैट इट विल कीप ऑन गिविंग मी द रिटर्न्स. लेकिन दैट डजंट हैपन एवरी टाइम एंड ईच एंड एवरी टाइम. Things change, situations change, and having biases may actually spoil your overall investment journey. Chasing high returns to take extraordinary risk for desired returns. काफी बार क्या होता है कि फॉर दी एक्स्ट्रा रिटर्न वी टेक एक्स्ट्राऑर्डिनरी रिस्क. फॉर एग्जांपल, अगर मुझे कोई फंड से 15% का रिटर्न मिल रहा है, but there is another fund which is giving 17% return, but that fund is 2 times more risky. It doesn't make sense to invest there. If by doubling the risk, if I am enhancing only 2% returns, it may not be the prudent decision. So going by just past performance of the fund is not enough. You need to analyze risk and return hand in hand. It's not just analyzing about the past returns. You should analyze the risk vis-a-vis the return and not just the returns. This is where most of the people go wrong. Do it yourself if you don't have time and knowledge. मैंने देखा है काफी बार लोग गलत डिसीजन ले लेते हैं और फंस जाते हैं. टिपिकली पॉलिसीज में एक बार आपने प्रीमियम भर दिया, देन यू आर लॉक्ड इन फॉर अ लॉन्ग पीरियड. अगर 15 साल का पॉलिसी ले लिया आपने और उसमें साइजेबल अमाउंट ऑफ कैश फ्लो कमिट कर दिया है, तो देयर इज नो गोइंग बैक. द डोर्स आर क्लोज और आइदर यू विल हैव टू टेक सम लॉस and then exit the policy. So basically if you are not sure, don't hesitate to take help of an expert. यहाँ पे इंडिया में देखा है मैंने कि people think that paying for financial advice is not that important, but literally I have seen people who have chosen wrong products and they repent it over the period of time. So before taking any major financial investment decision, better pay a few thousand rupees of in excuse me in fees. Ensure that what you are doing is right, and then only go ahead. Haphazard investment is another thing which you need to avoid. There is a tendency that मेरे कोलीग ने क्या किया है, कहाँ इन्वेस्ट किया है, वहीं मैं करूंगा। मेरे भाई ने बोल दिया ये प्रोडक्ट अच्छा है, वहां मैंने कर दिया। वन नीड टू अंडरस्टैंड दैट सबका रिक्वायरमेंट अलग है। अगर मेरी रिस्क टेकिंग कैपेसिटी मेरे कलीग से डिफरेंट है, तो उसने जहाँ पे इन्वेस्टमेंट किया है वो मेरे लिए सही नहीं हो सकता है। उसको अगर 10 साल के लिए जरूरत नहीं है, उसने रियल एस्टेट ले लिया है, लेकिन क्या आपको भी चलेगा? आपकी 10 साल के लिए आपको कैश फ्लो नहीं आया तो इज इट ओके फॉर यू? इफ इट इज नॉट, देन माइट बी फॉलोइंग हिज फुटस्टेप्स इज अ वेरी रॉन्ग थिंग टू डू. So basically, investment decision is a very personalized thing. Personal finance is very personal. So you should not follow anybody's footsteps. Just have a tailor-made plan. Think over it. If you cannot take a decision, approach an expert and then proceed. So we have
So that
actually.
was a very good slide talking about what क्या चीजें नहीं करनी चाहिए जब हम फाइनेंशियल प्लानिंग कर रहे हैं, तो किस तरह की चीजें हमें अवॉइड करनी चाहिए। यदि हमारे ऑडियंस में किसी का कोई भी सवाल है, क्योंकि अगले 5 से 7 मिनट में हमें सेशन को रैप अप करने वाली हूँ, तो रिक्वेस्ट है अपने सवाल लिख सकते हैं, पूछ सकते हैं।
These are some takeaways for the audiences. There are certain very simple thumb rules which any layman can use in their day-to-day life. First is a rule of 72. It shows in how many years you can double your money for at a given rate of return. Say for example, अगर मेरे पास कोई इन्वेस्टमेंट प्रोडक्ट है जो 10% रिटर्न देगा ईयर ऑन ईयर, तो मेरा पैसा कितने साल में डबल होगा? So to arrive at the answer, I need to divide 72 by the return on investment, that is 10%, which means लगभग 7 से 7.25 साल में if I invest the money at 10%, anywhere between 7 to 7.25 years, I can double the money. Are you getting me? The rule can also be used in other terms. Say for example, if somebody says that your money will get double in 5 years, so you can calculate the return on investment basis the rule of 72. So if I divide 72 by 5, which comes to 14 point something, it means that if my money is getting doubled in 5 years, the return on investment for me is somewhere around 14.2%. So this is a very
That's a
beautiful
very
rule.
interesting rule, sir. That's a very good information. Meanwhile, we have a question. I want to know more about trust, how it is set up, and what are the benefits or requirements.
This is a very long topic, and we will have hopefully we'll have a separate session on this.
Sure.
Because this kind of question, it is very difficult for me to answer him in 5 to 10 minutes, and since we are short of time, we can actually have a separate session altogether on wherein we can call an expert who is into making trusts and understanding on how it can be set up, what are the complications involved in setting up and running it on a regular basis, the compliances and the advantages, of course.
Sure. We are looking forward. We all will be looking forward to such a specialized session. So that's it. We will keep you posted on that the day we are doing this session. And now we are left with another 10 more minutes to wind up this session.
Yes, the next rule is the rule of 144. It is very similar to rule of 72, which shows how you can if you have the return on investment, it will show in how many years you can triple your money. Or if somebody says that your money will get tripled in 10 years, you can easily divide 144 by 10 and arrive at 14.4, which shows that your money will get tripled in 14.4 years at the rate of 10%. So just dividing this 72 by the ROI, you get the number of years in how many years you can double your money, or if you have the years in or if you are aware or somebody tells you that in this particular scheme your money will get doubled or tripled in this period, in this time period, you can calculate the ROI. The third rule is rule of 15, which says that if you start investing 15,000 rupees a month for 15 years at the and if you earn a return of 15% CAGR, you arrive at 1 crore after 15 years. These are all approximate numbers. So the rule of 15 says 15,000 rupees at the rate of 15% CAGR for 15 years, you come to 1 crore. So for 2 crore, for the same period, you can calculate it as 30,000 at 15% for 15 years, or you can double the period. No, doubling of period is not possible. So basically, these are just a few thumb rules which a layman can use in day-to-day life. The last box in the slide shows just a formula of compound interest which we have learned in school, which says amount is equal to principal into bracket 1 plus r divided by 100 raised to n. I hope everybody remembers this, that we have learned this in somewhere around 6th, 7th or 8th standard when we were in school. So ये पर्टिकुलर फॉर्मूला यहाँ पे डालने का इंटेंट इज वेरी सिंपल. उसमें क्या है कि वी ऑलवेज वांट ए एज द बाय प्रोडक्ट, लेकिन व्हाट इट इज डिपेंडेंट ऑन इज हाउ मच यू अर्न, इन्वेस्ट. इट इज पी. Also it is dependent upon r, the return on investment, and third variable on which the amount will depend is on n. So now out of p, r and n, what is in your hand? Is p in your hand? कितना इन्वेस्ट करना है आपके हाथ में है? लगभग थोड़ा बहुत. You cannot have invest crores, but obviously maximizing p is what you can focus on. So I can say partially p is in your hand, right? R कितना भी कर लो, R मेरे हाथ में नहीं है, क्योंकि there are a lot of things on which R will depend on. It will depend on the going inflation rate, the government policy, the kind of product you want to invest in, is the economic situation conducive or not. So there are n number of again variables when it comes to R. So basically R किसी के भी हाथ में नहीं है. अगर गवर्नमेंट ने कल जाके रेट ऑफ इंटरेस्ट ही कम कर दिया तो एफडी का आज जो 6.5% मिल रहा है वो 5.5 ही हो जाएगा. सो इट इज नॉट इन योर हैंड. आर इज एब्सोल्युटली आउट ऑफ योर कंट्रोल. So how we can actually control R is if we are disciplined enough. R to a certain extent can be controlled or can be maximized. I won't say it can be controlled, lekin it can be optimized. For that, having a discipline, having a regular investment in places where a high return is possible needs to be done. So R is one thing which you can focus on to counter the uncertainties. Discipline is the only thing through which you can counter the return on investment. And n is nothing but the number of years. So what it says is the earlier you start, the more number of years you get. So the best time to invest was yesterday. The next best time is today. So don't delay. Every time you have some surplus, without delaying, try to invest that as soon as possible, so that you enhance the N. N is in your hands. P is if you can focus on earning more and spending less to a certain extent, P is in your hands. R is out of our hand, but it can be optimized by discipline. Say if you don't miss your sips, regularity, if you don't miss, then R, I have experienced that R also falls in place. So with that note, I come to end of the session. If anybody needs to get in touch with me, these are our contact details. You can visit our website. You can search Midas Touch Pune on Google. There are a lot of other information which is available there. And if you feel the need to get in touch with us, please do send messages or emails. We would be happy, and we'll try to promptly reply to any questions over email and WhatsApp, even after the session.
Thank you, Rahul ji. It was indeed a great session. Lots of points to be covered in financial management. हम अक्सर बहुत सारी चीजें भूल जाते हैं जब फाइनेंशियल मैनेजमेंट की बात करते हैं, सिर्फ एक ही दिशा में देखते हैं, एक ही दिशा में सोचते हैं। लेकिन आज की आपकी प्रेजेंटेशन ने एक बहुत बैलेंस व्यू पेश किया कि हमें क्या क्या चीजें करनी चाहिए, किस किस तरह से हम अपने पोर्टफोलियो को विस्तार दे सकते हैं, किस तरह से हम चीजों का बैलेंस क्रिएट कर सकते हैं। एंड आई एम श्योर एज स्पेशल नीड पेरेंट्स, हम सभी जितने पार्टिसिपेंट्स थे, इससे हमें एक बहुत अच्छी जानकारी, इंटरनल व्यू मिला, जो जिसको हम आने वाले समय में अपने जीवन में उतारेंगे। और बहुत जल्द मैं आश्वासन देती हूँ अपने सभी पार्टिसिपेंट्स को, हम लोग ट्रस्ट, जिस चीज में सबसे ज्यादा इंटरेस्ट है हम पेरेंट्स का, कि ट्रस्ट कैसे बनाई जाए, उसका संचालन कैसे हो, उसकी रिक्वायरमेंट्स क्या होती हैं, whatever laws, legalities related to it, we will be soon, very soon, will be doing a session on this. आप सामर्थ्य फाउंडेशन, जिसका हमेशा से उद्देश्य ये रहा है कि हर तरह की जानकारी, कंप्लीट जानकारी अपने अभिभावकों तक, पेरेंट्स तक पहुंचाएं। और इसी उद्देश्य के साथ ये हमारा स्क्रीन पे हमारा नंबर है आपको। सामर्थ्य फाउंडेशन, जैसा कि शिवानी ने बताया, हम पेरेंट्स की इंफॉर्मेशन बढ़ाने के साथ साथ, एडवोकेसी के साथ साथ ग्रास रूट लेवल पर बहुत काम करते हैं। क्लासेस, सपोर्ट्स, इंटरवेंशंस, अर्ली इंटरवेंशंस, स्कूल कॉलेज लेवल इंटरवेंशन, सभी तरह की चीजें न्यूरो डाइवर्स स्टूडेंट्स को पहुंचाई जाती हैं। तो आपके यदि किसी भी किस्म की जरूरत, सवाल या गाइडेंस की आपको जरूरत है, तो आप इस एड्रेस पे, इस कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर पे हमसे कॉन्टैक्ट कर सकते हैं। और जैसे कि राहुल जी ने भी अपना कॉन्टैक्ट नंबर आपसे शेयर किया, यू ऑल कैन feel free to connect him for any kind of financial advice. राहुल जी, मैं एक बार फिर से आपका बहुत बहुत शुक्रिया अदा करना चाहूंगी कि आपने अपना समय निकाला, और ये बहुत ही गंभीर और इम्पोर्टेंट जानकारी थी जो लोगों को दी। हम, अगर हमारे पास इससे संबंधित और कोई भी सवाल बाद में भी आते हैं, हम उसे आप तक पहुंचाएंगे और उम्मीद करेंगे कि हमारे लोगों को उसका जवाब। And I would like to say thanks to my colleague Sanika for managing this show. So I say thank you, Sanika, and thank you everyone for giving your time and attention for this webinar.
Thank you. Namaste.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.